Welcome to Hart County Public Library Outreach Virtual Storytime. We are so glad that you could join us.
The Kentucky Derby race is held the first Saturday in May of each year. The race draws the rich and famous, such as Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, several U.S. presidents, celebrities from politics, business, sports, and entertainment. Kentucky-born humorist Irvin S. Cobb summed up the race by saying, "Until you go to Kentucky and with your own eyes behold a derby, you ain't been nowhere and you ain't seen nothing." D is for Derby. A Kentucky Derby alphabet is written by Helen L. Wilbur, illustrated by Jamie Corum. A is for Aristides. Aristides, small but bold, strained against his jockey's hold. Grip released, out he burst and surged ahead to be the first. Known as the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, the Kentucky Derby is the oldest continuous sporting event in the United States. The Derby is more than just a horse race. It's an event with a culture and tradition all its own. 10,000 spectators watched the running of the first Derby on May 17, 1875 at the Louisville Jockey Club. A field of 15 thoroughbreds raced, 14 of which were ridden by African-American jockeys. Owner H.P. McGrath ran 2 horses, Aristides and Chesapeake, in the race. Aristides was to start fast to tire the other horses so that Chesapeake, the favorite, would win. Seeing that Chesapeake was trailing, McGrath signaled to Oliver Lewis, the jockey riding Aristides. Aristides won the race by 2 lengths. Every May, thousands experience the romance and excitement as the top 3-year-old thoroughbreds parade to the starting line at Churchill Downs. Kentucky-born humorist Irving S. Cobb summed up the race by saying, "Until you go to Kentucky and with your own eyes behold a derby, you ain't been nowhere and you ain't seen nothing." B is for Bluegrass. Limestone walls trace country lanes. In emerald fields, colts shake their manes. A bay mare frolics with her foal. That's the Bluegrass heart and soul. With its rolling green pastures, wood plank fences, and beautiful farms, the Bluegrass region in central Kentucky is truly the horse capital of the world. The limestone-rich soil produces lush bluegrass, which horses love and gives them strong muscles and bones. When Daniel Boone explored beyond the Cumberland Gap in the late 1700s, the area now known as Kentucky was a dense forest. Settlers followed Boone's wilderness trail, cut back the woodland, and sowed the grass seeds whose buds have a bluish tint. The Bluegrass is home to more than 450 working horse farms like fabled Calumet Farm, which produced 8 Derby and 2 Triple Crown winners. Over 100 Derby winners have been bred in Kentucky. Bluegrass horse farms give retirement homes to many celebrity horses, including most of the retired Derby winners. Private farms require appointments for guests, but the state-owned Kentucky Horse Park in Lexington is open to the public. It's a working horse farm and tourist attraction where visitors can meet former champions like Funnyside, 2003 Derby winner. C is for Churchill Downs. Every racing fan desires to sit beneath the grand twin spires in May to watch the Derby run and try to pick the lucky one. Horse breeding and racing have a long tradition in Louisville. Early settlers raced their horses on the main streets until concerns for public safety moved the races to tracks outside of town. Colonel M. Lewis Clark wanted to create a world-class track and races to showcase the Kentucky thoroughbred industry, which had been devastated during the Civil War. A trip to Britain inspired him to model the races after the famous Derby Stakes at Epsom. His uncles, John and Henry Churchill gave him the land for the track, which is now known as Churchill Downs. Although the first Kentucky Derby in 1875 met with success, the track struggled financially and had difficulty attracting important racehorse owners. Colonel Matt Wynn, who attended every Derby for the first 75 years, took over leadership of Churchill Downs in 1902. With his business savvy and skill in marketing, he made the Derby America's most prestigious horse race. D is for Derby Festival. Fireworks thunder, steamboats race, balloons float by, runners pace. Bands parade, each day is full. That's Derby time in Louisville. The annual Kentucky Derby Festival starts with a bang. Thunder over Louisville, one of the nation's largest fireworks displays, lights up the waterfront for the opening ceremony. For the next 2 weeks, the Derby Festival features the Great Balloon Race, a full and half marathon, country and rock concerts, and the Pegasus Parade with bands, floats, and beautiful equestrian units. There's something for everyone. Sports, music, food, and entertainment. Over 70 events, most of which are free. On the Wednesday before the Derby, crowds gather on the banks of the Ohio River for the Great Steamboat Race, one of the festival's most popular events. The boats compete in a 14-mile race, accumulating points in a series of challenges, including a canopy competition. The winners get to display the Silver Antlers trophy on their home dock until the next year. If you go to Louisville, remember that Kentuckians pronounce it Louisville. With that in mind, now reread the poem. E is for Exterminator. He was awkward and ugly, a little bit rough, but fast and determined. He was strong. He was tough. He just kept on running, out front and alone. Everyone loved him. They called him Old Bones. Exterminator, one of the most popular racehorses of all time, started as a workout horse for Sunbriar, Willis Sharp Kilmer's champion. Kilmer's trainer, Henry McDaniel, reported that Sunbriar was not training well before the 1918 Derby and recommended Kilmer run Exterminator instead. It took a lot of persuasion, as Kilmer called the awkward horse the old goat. The track was muddy, and Kilmer had no confidence in Exterminator, but that did not affect the calm and determined horse. Against all expectations, he won the Derby and went on to a long racing career, winning 50 out of 99 races and placing in another 34 of them. Nicknamed Old Bones, Exterminator retired to Kilmer's farm in Binghamton, New York, where Mrs. Kilmer held a birthday party for him each May with a cake of oats that had carrots for candles. Exterminator became so attached to his companion pony, Peanuts, that the little Shetland traveled with him to guest appearances. F is for fillies. Racing fans will not forget a chestnut filly named Regret. She won the nation's admiration and made the Derby's reputation. In 1915, a filly named Regret changed the fortunes of the Kentucky Derby. Churchill Downs president Matt Wynn convinced well-known horseman and breeder Harry Payne Whitney to enter his 3-year-old filly in the race. Whitney had named her Regret because he was disappointed that the foal from outstanding parents had not been a colt. Regret became the first filly to win the Derby. The national publicity generated by her win made the Kentucky Derby an American institution. Only 2 other fillies have duplicated this feat. Genuine Risk, 1980, and Winning Colors, 1988. Regret gave her fans nothing to regret. The Friday before Derby Day, Churchill Downs is a sea of pink for the running of the Kentucky Oaks, a race for 3-year-old thoroughbred fillies. As old as the Derby itself, the Oaks is known as Lilies for Fillies, for the stargazer lily, its official flower. The event raises money and awareness for causes important to women and their families. Most spectators wear pink, and the winning horse is draped with a blanket of pink stargazer lilies. G is for grooms, a gentle rub with soothing hands, a calming voice that understands, helps put a champion at rest to wake each day and be his best. The workday starts in the backside, barn area of Churchill Downs in the cool, dark hours before dawn. Here the grooms, walkers, exercise riders, trainers, and assistant trainers devote themselves to one thing: the care of the racehorses. At Derby time, more than 1,400 racehorses live in barns called shed rows. Each horse needs to be fed, groomed, exercised, and trained. Stable work is tough and sometimes dangerous. Excited horses can kick and bite. The team behind a winning horse often gets little recognition. A groom feeds and washes horses daily, wraps and unwraps leg bandages, watches for any signs of illness, and makes sure the horse is happy, healthy, handsome, and ready to race. Groom Eddie Sweat, who rubbed Derby winners Riva Ridge, 1972, and the Great Secretariat, 1973, had a natural feel for horses. Sweat's cool and confident manner calmed his high-strung charges. As he said, talk to them and love them. They'll do their best and love you back. A life-sized bronze statue at the entrance to the Kentucky Horse Park celebrates that bond. It shows Eddie leading Secretariat with Jockey Ron Turkett into the Derby's winner's circle. H is for hats, flowers and feathers, bows and swirls, silk and straw, laces and curls, a brim so wide you wonder that a person can see from under the hat. They're big, they're spectacular, they're the center of attention. Not the horses, the hats. The Kentucky Derby and Oaks maintained the tradition of elegant style started in the early years when ladies wore bustles and carried parasols, and men appeared in frock coats and top hats. The fashion parade in the stands gives the horses a run for their money. The most important fashion accessory at the Derby is a hat, not just to be chic, but also to bring good luck. Whether it's flirty, flowery, beautiful, big-brimmed, exotic, expensive, homemade, humorous, or just plain weird, a Derby hat expresses the personality of its wearer. Derby styles for women favor bright colors, wide skirts, and even wider hats, topped with bows, flowers, tulle, chiffon, ribbons, feathers, and anything pretty or fun. Hats and high fashion are not just for women. Men show their own sense of style with colorful and smart clothes, hats, and ties. While reserved seats have a dress code, infield attire is more relaxed and the styles often outrageous. Partygoers create their own headgear featuring stuffed or plastic horses or replicas of the twin spires. I is for in the money. It takes a horse who's swift and sure and has the power to endure, to race, to win, and to advance. There's breeding, there's training, and then there is chance. The Kentucky Derby is one of the world's most prestigious horse races and the first step to the Triple Crown. Like participants in the Super Bowl, World Series, and U.S. Open, Kentucky Derby competitors must prove themselves worthy contenders. The final Derby field is limited to only 20 horses. For many years, 3-year-old horses with the highest earnings were eligible to compete. A horse needed to finish first, second, or third, known as in the money, in races to accumulate the earnings to qualify. In 2013, race officials created a new system called the Road to the Kentucky Derby. The new system awards points to the top finishers in a select series of races, divided into a prep season and a championship series. It's easier for fans to understand and creates a more competitive field of horses. In the first race using this system, the 2013 Derby winner Orb had the most points, matched only by Veronzo, who finished 14th. J is for Jockey. He's pounding beneath you. The dirt's in your face. You're close by the rail and you can't see a space. Then he gives you his all, his heart and his strength. He gallops ahead. He's won by a length. Controlling a 1,000-pound thoroughbred racing at 40 miles per hour requires extraordinary skill, daring, and confidence. Winning jockeys are calm, quick, and aware. Racing horses is a strenuous and dangerous profession. Jockeys need to weigh around 115 pounds, so they have to pack a lot of strength into a small frame. The speed and closeness of horses during a race make accidents and injuries common. Winning the Kentucky Derby is every jockey's dream. Isaac Murphy, an African American who rode in the late 1800s, was the first to win 3 derbies and to be honored by induction into the Jockey Hall of Fame. Eddie Arcaro, nicknamed the Master, won 5 derbies starting in 1938 on racehorse Lauren, as well as 2 Triple Crowns. Bill Harjak, the son of a coal miner, also had the distinction of 5 derby wins, the first aboard Iron Lege in 1957. During races, jockeys wear colorful jackets and helmet coverings, known as silks, which identify the horse's owner. King Charles II of England established this tradition in the 18th century to tell horses apart in a race and settle often heated disputes among the barons and dukes. K is for Kentucky Home, the crowd, the cheers, the noise, the crush. The horses parade, then there's a hush, for a song so familiar, yet moving and strong, of our home in Kentucky, we all sing along. Even the toughest Kentuckian gets teary-eyed when the horses pass in front of the grandstand as the band plays the state song, My Old Kentucky Home. It's an emotional moment when everything stops. Each of the 20 thoroughbreds stepping onto the track still has the chance to win the Derby. Before the race, the owner, trainer, and jockey, known as the horse's connections, meet in the paddock area to saddle up, review race strategy, and wish one another luck. The bugler sounds the call to the post, signaling that the race is about to begin. The post parade introduces all the jockeys and their mounts on their way to the starting gate. The University of Louisville Marching Band strikes up the state song, which was written by Stephen Foster in 1853. By the end of the chorus, nearly everyone at Churchill Downs stands singing, "For the old Kentucky home far away." As the last chord fades, cheering erupts and they're off. The horses lunge forward, and one of them is 2 minutes away from becoming a legend. L is for long shot, against the odds. It takes one chance to make a move and swiftly advance. The favorite falters, the front runners tire. Suddenly, the long shot crosses the wire. Derby dreams can turn to dust in an instant, and illness gets a favorite horse scratched at the last moment. A horse stumbles coming out of the gate, gets injured, bumped, or just doesn't feel like running that day. Horse racing is an unpredictable business. Some of the best horses or top trainers have not won the big race. Then there's that thrilling moment when a long shot astonishes everyone by beating the top contenders. Racing fans bet money on the race's outcome. The favorite is the horse most likely to win the race. Long shots are the least likely. The Kentucky Derby uses a system of betting that originated in France called Paris Mutual. All the money is put in a pool, and the amount a winning bettor gets is determined by how much money is bet on each horse. Odds can change right up to the start of the race. Donna Rail surprised everyone in 1913. At odds of 91-1, Donna Rail came from behind to make history as the biggest long shot in the Kentucky Derby. He paid $184.90 on a $2 bet when the average wage was about $14 a week. M is for May. It's time for forsythia, red buds and tulips, baked ham and hot brown, burgoo and juleps. For parties, for racing, for picking a winner, and sitting down to a great Southern dinner. Colonel Matt Wynn started the tradition of holding the Kentucky Derby on the first Saturday in May. Wynn researched Louisville weather and concluded that this day was most likely to be the loveliest day of spring. Redbud and dogwood trees and spring flowers flourish under sunny skies during warm spring days. The first week of May also brings parties with glitz, glamour, and generosity to Louisville. Many elegant balls, receptions, and galas draw celebrities and also act as fundraisers to support charitable causes. No Derby celebration would be complete without traditional Kentucky food and drink. Ham, burgoo, thick meat and vegetable stew, a hot brown, a turkey and bacon sandwich with cheese sauce, Benedictine dip, and for adults only, the famous mint julep. You don't have to be in Louisville to enjoy the Derby. Watch it on television and have a party of your own. N is for names. Sunday Silence, Seattle Slew, Smarty Jones, Swell Hindu. To mark a champion's lasting fame, no other horse can have his name. Who thinks up the names of racehorses? Thoroughbred naming is a complicated business. Formed in 1894, the Jockey Club oversees the sport. It also controls the registry and official naming for all North American thoroughbreds. Strict rules apply. The name cannot be one of the 450,000 currently in use, or the thousands of names of champions which have been permanently retired. In addition to other requirements, names may have a maximum of 18 characters. The club registers about 25,000 new thoroughbreds each year. Names of Derby champions like Citation, Charismatic, Affirmed, and Determined reflect the confidence and hopes attached to a horse. Some names tell his personal history. Needles was a sickly foal who got lots of injections from the vet. Many include the foal's sire and dame. Thunder Gulch, Gulch plus Line of Thunder, Dust Commander, Bold Commander plus Dust Storm, Real Quiet, Quiet American plus Really Blue. Lily T squeaked like the alien in the movies. Gato de Sal reminded his trainer of a gray cat lounging in the sun. What would you name your Derby champion? O is for Oval. The thunder of hooves as they break from the gate. One horse has stumbled. Another starts late. They crowd the first turn at a lightning pace. They reach the backstretch. It's anyone's race. The bell rings and the horses start or break from the gate. The crowd roars as they gallop by the grandstand. Most of the horses have never run in a race this long against this many competitors. Horses and jockeys can get bumped by or caught between other horses as the pack of 20 racing thoroughbreds crowds the track. Speed horses are known to take the lead early and keep it. Stalkers settle just behind the leaders and make their move late in the race. In the home stretch, anything can happen and often does. Jockey Calvin Borel lived up to his nickname, Bo Rail, by hugging the rail and bringing Mine That Bird for a 50-1 long shot in the 2009 Derby. Mine That Bird came up so fast that the commentators didn't see him until he was in the lead. P is for Preakness. The Derby, Preakness, Belmont Stakes, each a challenge a champion takes. To win all three, the Triple Crown, the road to glory and renown. Every January 1st, thoroughbred racehorses celebrating their third birthday begin the road to the Triple Crown. A Triple Crown champion must win 3 very competitive races in 5 weeks. The Derby, Preakness Stakes, and Belmont Stakes. It's a grueling test of speed and stamina for a young horse. Only 11 horses have done it, starting with Sir Barton in 1919. The second jewel in the crown is the Preakness Stakes, which takes place in Baltimore 2 weeks after the Derby. It is held at the Pimlico Racecourse, which is the second oldest racetrack in the country. The Preakness winner gets draped with a blanket of black-eyed Susans, and the owner receives a silver replica of the $1 million woodland vase. A horse great enough and lucky enough to win the first 2 races has a shot at the Triple Crown 3 weeks later at the Belmont Stakes in Elmont, New York. Winning any of these races carries prestige, but to win all 3 in one season, called a sweep, creates a legend. Seattle Slew was the first horse to win the Triple Crown undefeated, winning all his races that season, 1977. Q is for Queen. Racing fan or celebrity, just plain folks or royalty. In the clubhouse, the grandstand, or Millionaire's Row, there's nothing so fine as the Derby show. Not all the action at the Kentucky Derby takes place on the track. The race draws the rich and famous along with everyday racing fans. Celebrities from politics, business, sports, and entertainment add sparkle and excitement to the crowd on Millionaire's Row. Some experience the thrill up close by owning a Derby horse. In 1930, the 17th Earl of Derby came to Kentucky to observe the races named for his ancestor. The Kentucky Derby was honored in 2007 to host Queen Elizabeth II and her husband Prince Philip, who watched Street Sense race to victory. The Queen is an avid horsewoman who breeds and races horses, riding for her official duties as well as for pleasure. Several U.S. presidents have also attended the race. For a more informal environment, about 80,000 people gather in the center of the track called the infield. With only a few places to actually see the race and no seating but the ground, the infield is a very large party on Derby Day. R is for Run for the Roses. Run for the roses, for the joy of the chase, for the cheers of the crowd and the tears on your face. Run for the roses, for all that you're worth. It's been the dream since the day of your birth. The horseshoe-shaped winner's circle in the infield of Churchill Downs is reserved for only one horse a year, the winner of the Kentucky Derby. It's the dream of every owner, trainer, and jockey to stand there before the twin spires with the winning thoroughbred. In 1904, the red rose became the Derby's official flower. All winners since Burgoo King in 1932 are draped with a garland of over 400 red roses. This tradition inspired a sports writer to call the race the Run for the Roses. Racing fans can watch employees at a Kroger grocery store in Louisville stitch roses into the garland the night before the Derby. The center crown has a rose for each contender, with a single rose higher than the rest, signifying the strength and heart required to win. One champion, Big Brown, however, hated flowers. Big Brown's jockey took off the rose blanket in the winner's circle as he did not want to upset his horse. The governor of Kentucky and other dignitaries present the 14-karat solid gold Derby trophy to the owner, with smaller silver trophies for the jockey, breeder, and trainer. S is for Secretariat. His blistering speed, his fearless eyes, his glowing coat, his massive size. He raced into legend, lengths ahead, the greatest of them all, Big Red. In 1973, Secretariat mania swept the country as the beautiful chestnut colt wowed racing fans by becoming the first Triple Crown champion in 25 years. Secretariat was born on Meadow Farm in Virginia, son of bold ruler and something royal. Penny Chenery Tweedy had taken over the struggling farm from her ailing father and got the handsome colt as the losing party in a coin toss. Secretariat had a deep chest, 3 white socks, a white star on his forehead, and a magnificent copper-colored coat that earned him the nickname Big Red. After Secretariat finished a disappointing third in a race leading up to the Derby, his fans wearied that the celebrated thoroughbred might fail them. Secretariat responded by blitzing through the Derby with a record time of 1 minute 59.4 seconds, running each quarter mile faster than the last in a feat that has never been duplicated. He won the Preakness, then the Belmont in record time by 31 lengths. With Secretariat and her other Derby champion, Reva Ridge, Mrs. Chenery Tweedy became one of the first women elected to the prestigious Jockey Club. T is for Thoroughbred, swift as the wind on Arabian sand, strong as the plow as it cuts through the land, a creature majestic, courageous, and loyal, whose bloodline's the best, a steed truly royal. All racehorses are thoroughbreds, a distinct breed whose ancestry traces back more than 250 years to 3 Arabian stallions. English horsemen brought the elegant, swift stallions from the Middle East and bred them with the heavier, stronger European mares. The result created a very fast yet strong horse, perfect for racing. The first European settlers to America brought their thoroughbreds and their passion for racing them. Thoroughbreds stand about 16 hands high. A hand equals 4 inches, and carry 1,000 pounds on powerful but lean legs. Owners, trainers, and racing fans analyze bloodlines, a horse's ancestry, and conformation, how a horse is physically put together, to identify a superior runner. But the best-built horse with a top-notch pedigree is not always a winner. Thoroughbreds are classified as hot-blooded horses, making them agile and fleet, but also giving them a spirited temperament. Sir Barton was noted for his irritable disposition and dislike of other creatures, human and animal. But that fiery attitude spurred him on to win the Derby, then the Triple Crown in 1919. U is for Unbridled. An unbridled spirit dares to have dreams no matter how distant the victory seems. It's never too late to dream. At the age of 92, Francis Genter, longtime thoroughbred owner and breeder, entered a horse in the Derby for the first time and won. Mrs. Genter's eyesight was failing, so her trainer, Nafster, called the race for her. As Unbridled charged to the finish line, Nafster hugged his client, saying, "You've won the Kentucky Derby. Oh, Mrs. Genter, I love you." Owning a racehorse is risky and expensive. Buying a thoroughbred can cost from $1,000 to millions. After the initial investment, there are ongoing costs for training, blacksmithing, veterinary services, hay, feed, and transportation, and you only make money when your horse wins. But the thrill of thoroughbred racing is not just for the wealthy. A group of ordinary guys from upstate New York pool their modest resources to buy racehorses and have some fun at the track. When their chestnut gelding, Funnyside, qualified for the Kentucky Derby, they hired a yellow school bus to make the trip to Louisville to see him beat the odds and win. Maybe that's why the Kentucky slogan is Unbridled Spirit. V is for Victory. From the foaling barn to the finish line, they got him fit, made him shine. His muscles rippling, running free, he carried them all to victory. Winning the Kentucky Derby is the thrill of a lifetime, but chasing that victory can be difficult and unpredictable. In the more than 130-year history of the Derby, the favorite has won only 38% of the time. Native Dancer, one of the most famous thoroughbreds and sire to many winners, had only one career defeat, by Dark Star, the 1953 Derby. Top farms and trainers have produced winners like 1948 Triple Crown champion Citation, the first racehorse to win $1 million. Other champions come from more humble beginnings. Roy and Pat Chapman had to sell their small Someday farm in Pennsylvania and keep only 2 horses. But one of them was Smarty Jones, who captured the hearts of racing fans in 2004 when he won the Derby and the Preakness and came in a heartbreaking second in the Belmont. Horses get only one shot at winning, but owners, breeders, and jockeys try year after year for the honor of a Derby win. Over a dozen jockeys have ridden only once and won, but it took Johnny Velazquez 13 trips. He rode Animal Kingdom to victory in 2011 when the original jockey broke his nose. W is for Workouts. The clocker leans against the rail. The trainer studies each detail. movement, stamina, and pace, the final breeze before the race. Early morning workouts at Churchill Downs attract big crowds during Derby week. Fans get an opportunity to see the Kentucky Oaks and Derby contenders pounding down the track, hooves flying, getting ready for the big race. Like any athlete, a thoroughbred needs to be in top condition to compete. Trainers prepare a horse for a race, determining race strategy and workout length and intensity. Before a big race, a trainer may breeze the horse. A breeze is a speed workout over a particular distance in a certain amount of time in order to observe the horse's movement and stamina. A Kentucky Derby win is the highlight of a thoroughbred trainer's career. A few have won more than once. Ben A. Jones of the renowned Calumet Farm holds the record so far with 6 victories between 1938 and 1952. Well-known trainers may have over 200 horses under their care and saddle more than one for the Derby. But retired high school principal Tom McCarthy owned and trained only one horse, General Quarters, who qualified for and ran in the 2009 Derby. X is for X marks the spot, the finish line. They're in the home stretch. One horse breaks clear. The Derby dreams, they all end here. Triumph or heartbreak, that's how it goes. Win by a length or win by a nose. The finish line, this is where it all ends. 10 furlongs, 1 1/4 mile, and 2 minutes from the starting gate. The horse that crosses it first goes into the history books and gets a nameplate on the Twin Spires building. The rest may win other great races and have great careers, but will never be a Kentucky Derby winner. Derby lore records some spectacular close finishes. In 1933, the jockeys aboard Broker's Tip and Head Play got into a fight atop their mounts as they headed into the home stretch. They pushed and pulled one another in what is known as the fighting finish. Judges declared Broker's Tip the winner and suspended the jockeys. The great Willie Shoemaker misjudged the finish line in the 83rd Derby and stood in the stirrups of Gallant Man, allowing Iron Liege to nose ahead and win. Grindstone, a small horse with a big heart, who was a son of champion Unbridled, was a closer. Under jockey Jerry Bailey, Grindstone ran at the back of the pack until the end, when he drove ahead, beating the favorite, Cavanier, in a photo finish. It was the horse's great triumph and last race. Y is for Yearling. She's a beautiful filly, sleek and fine, a perfect head, a proud bloodline. But is she strong? Can she run? You ask yourself, is she the one? Most thoroughbred foals are born in the winter and early spring. Foals stand within minutes of their birth and are ready to run with the herd within hours. Training begins on a foal's first day, getting it to accept human contact. Young horses need to learn to be obedient and stand quietly for grooming, hoof care, and the vet. All foals born in the same year will turn 1 on their common birthday of January 1 and become yearlings. By this time, a young horse shows his or her conformation and potential for racing, and may be auctioned at one of the yearling sales. The world's largest yearling sale takes place every September at Keeneland in Lexington, Kentucky. The sale attracts customers from local pinhookers. speculators who buy yearlings for resale, to international billionaires. All have the same dream, owning a future Derby winner. The first Keeneland sale in 1943 produced Derby winner Hoop Jr. Many other Derby winners have passed through the Keeneland sales with prices ranging from $1,200 for Canarero II to $4 million for Fusace Pegasus. Z is for zeal. The look of eagles sets apart the champion whose strength and heart and courage come from deep within, born to run and born to win. Champion thoroughbreds are said to have the look of eagles, a noble and proud expression that conveys an unconquerable spirit. The eyes of a truly great horse have a fierce and confident gaze, as if the animal knows its purpose and worth. A thoroughbred's conformation and pedigree may be studied and evaluated, but there is no way to measure its most important attribute, the courage and determination to win. Horse people call it Hart. Race horses are not machines. They are equine athletes that have unique personalities, bred for swiftness. Thoroughbreds can be very lively and unpredictable. Like all horses, they are herd animals which instinctively run from any threat. Channeling their high spirits and energy into the determination and discipline to race and win can be a challenge. Ben Jones trained Whirlaway for Calumet Farm. The little horse with the long tail ran like the wind, but his erratic behavior on the track often caused him to lose races. A one-eyed blinker focused Whirlaway, who dawdled out of the gate, then sped past his rivals in a blistering burst of speed to win the Derby, then the Triple Crown in 1941.